Welcome to our channel. This is a space for honest conversations about addiction, safety, and healing for families. Today, we are going to talk about the fact that you cannot heal your spouse for them. This one is difficult to accept, especially when it is your spouse, because you love your spouse. But it is the truth. You cannot heal your husband or your wife who is using drugs for them. When addiction enters a marriage, it creates deep confusion because marriage is built on love, loyalty, and commitment. When you got married, you didn't marry a problem, you married a person. Because of this cognitive dissonance between the person you married and the person you are now living with in your home, I've heard many women say, this is not the man I married. The man I married is still in there. He will come back to me. They will keep on thinking like that until days become months, months become years. Even when your eyes can see the change, your hands can feel that things are no longer the same. Your nose can smell that something is happening here. You continue to stay. You explain things away. You absorb the chaos which will be happening in the home. The more you absorb, the more you die a little each day, while clinging to the hope that things will return to the way they once. Many women find themselves this kind of limbo. You tell yourself, if I love harder, things will change. I must love enough for both of us. Love conquers everything. If I hold this together, they will recover. But addiction does not respond to sacrifice alone. Let me say this clearly. You did not cause your spouse's addiction. You cannot control it. You cannot cure it. These are some of the basic truths that you need to accept for you to be able to let go. God does not give you the power to recover on someone else's behalf, no matter how much you love them. The person who is using drugs must make the decision to recover. They must be honest about their behavior. They must be willing to seek and engage with help. I have seen many parents, many spouses, many relatives and friends force loved ones into rehabilitation program because of this feeling that if I push more, if I do more, they are going to recover. So that is the concept of trying to recover on behalf of our loved ones. But the reality that I have seen, many people who are forced into return. For instance, I know someone who from the first day he was taken by his relatives to rehab, he was not focused on healing. He was focused on how to escape from the recovery center. According to him, he did not have a drug problem, but his relatives, friends, brothers, sisters, and so on had taken him to the rehabilitation center because they didn't want to see him happy. Love can support recovery, but love can place responsibility. And the responsibility lies with the person who is using drugs. When love becomes misdirected, it can slowly turn into self-erasure. You can erase yourself by loving someone too much without boundaries. I've seen many spouses disappear inside addiction. You become ashamed as if you are the one who caused the addiction. You withdraw from friends and family. Your entire life becomes centered on managing the moods, the needs, the crisis of the person who is using drugs. They can have a lot of mood swings, so you will have a lot of instability. For your own safety, you start trying to manage everything. Women especially are already conditioned to put their needs last. Although your partner has the drug problem, slowly swallow your life until there is very little left to enjoy, until there is no joy left, until there is no light left in your life. You can only see darkness. There is not even light at the end of the tunnel. Your needs come last, your safety becomes negotiable, your peace feels like a luxury. Many spouses find themselves in a situation where they think, at least today, he didn't hit me, he just shoved me. You start calculating risks on a daily basis. For example, you can start thinking, if I keep quiet, he won't explode. You start speaking less, watching your tone of voice, his tone of voice, or even her tone of voice if you're with a woman, and avoiding certain topics. You start walking on eggshells in your home because you don't know whatever you say can trigger your loved one. I found myself thinking, if I laugh, it might trigger him, or Sometimes you start feeling like, I don't deserve peace. How can I deserve peace when my loved one is struggling? You start feeling like you need to be in the trenches with your loved one, fighting for his life. You want to fight for his life on his behalf so that you can save him from whatever is happening. You start managing moods, you start hiding incidents, you start explaining bruises, especially when there's physical violence. Because of drug use, you can get into debt, you start living in fear, there's chaos, you can't even take care of yourself, you can't take care of your home. And when your friends or relatives see these changes that are happening, you start trying to explain them away. So let me be clear. If your life requires constant calculation just to feel okay, know that something is wrong. Even if you love the person involved, trying to save your marriage by destroying yourself is not love. When you set boundaries, you are not abandoning someone. Stepping back does not mean you stopped loving your spouse. It means you stopped sacrificing your life to protect addiction. You are allowed to say, I love you, I will support treatment, but I will not live in fear, I will not live in fear, I will not live in instability. That is not betrayal, that is self-respect. So in this situation, you need to know real love has limits. Real love does not preserve harm. Sometimes distance is what allows reality and really help to find an enter. If you are in a similar situation today where you are feeling confused, you don't know what to do, you don't know where you went wrong, maybe you are even blaming yourself, maybe you want to do everything in your power to make sure that your spouse is healed, you need to hear this. You cannot heal your spouse for them. Healing begins where responsibility begins. Your spouse who is using drugs has the responsibility to stop using and to enter recovery. Choosing safety is not giving up. It is choosing life. You need to know that your safety is not negotiable. Thank you for watching.